You've heard of the Base Wars organization. You've probably considered competing in the Base Wars organization. Friends, it's time to pull the trigger.
This is just the beginning.
Base Wars will be attending Slamology, the world's largest automotive and music festival. Yes, friends, you heard that correct. For the first time, Base Wars will be attending Slamology. This is very exciting news, so don't miss your chance to compete with us. You'll enjoy our atmosphere and our laid-back style of competing.
It's been a long road since the original kicker christened that first pickup truck. Oklahoma has always been a hotbed for musical talent, and Stillwater just added to that legacy. Steve Irby essentially invented the full-range mobile audio enclosure market when he built the original in 1980. That kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. We followed and supported enthusiasts who sweated over unbelievable audio systems to recreate perfect mobile sound. America's music machines became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. From boats to motorcycles to side-by-sides, we still follow you wherever your music takes you. Outdoors or on the open road, Kicker provides the rhythm to your life.
What?
up, everybody?
What up?
Sorry,
Man, people were expecting to see Billy Temple's sexy self on here. They got stuck with me.
Oh shit, Dan Curran in the house, everybody.
You just lost all your viewers again. I saw it drop. Yep. Straight in the drain.
That's probably going to make us get more viewers, and we might even have another special guest coming and chit chat with us in a little bit.
They like big sexy Billy, but
Everybody loves you. So, how was the show this weekend?
it was awesome.
Yeah,
It was an awesome show.
I'm a little
Good
sad.
times. The weather was perfect. It was a little windy, both inside and outside the cars. A lot of demos going on. So yeah, it was a good show, man. Good turnout. Everything went smooth. So
Yeah, nipples popped out.
that's right.
That's funny. Bless you.
Hey,
So you're
I tried to stop that one.
getting any interesting demos this weekend?
Got quite a few demos. I actually kind of switched it up this year because usually I'm busy demoing, like I'm stuck in the truck, and I kind of made a point this year. I'm like, you know what? Every year I come down here, I only get like one demo, maybe two. I'm like, I'm getting demos this year. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Dusty out here, man. It needs to rain. But, of course, we got the Duncan demo, the torture chamber. Joe tried to get me in the van. No. I suckered a few other people into getting in there, but no.
Why didn't you get in there?
I'm all right on that. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't care who's running it. Joe, Jordan, I'm not getting in it. Sorry. But I will say, like, my most surprising demo I got this weekend was a dude named Derek Smith from down there. And this cat was parked next to me like the whole time. And he wasn't giving out a lot of demos because he was having major altmeter issues.
Right.
Apparently his bracket didn't fit right, and he was trying to run the belt on just 3 ribs just to be able to do something, true basshead style, make it work somehow.
Well,
I kept shredding belts because he's only running on a third of the belt that he's supposed to, but that was all he could do. But every time he turned it on, man, it just looked like a hurricane going on next to me. So I'm like, I got to hear this thing.
Is that the one that the video of Jackie was in?
Yes. I was kind of pissed because I didn't have my phone on me when I got my demo. So I had to stick Jackie in there and get her demo. But, dude, it looks cool. It's windy, but the experience of it was a sleeper build, straight up. Like, dude had both doors open, and just when it hit, it just wanted to pill. Like, usually you get the chest or you get the wind, but, like, this was all face. I don't know how else to describe it. It was, like, all face smack, and it was good. It was really good. So.
Okay.
So how was finals?
It was finals. It was good. It was small this year, It was a good time seeing all the friends and family out there and being able to hang out with everybody and have a good time. So it was a great time. I can't complain at all.
Did Mr. Brodowski break anything?
A couple times, but you know him. That's his true fashion. He didn't really.
Yeah, I had to make sure it happened because if not, he wasn't acting right. So
he cooked a couple subwoofers. I'd say maybe 3, maybe 4. I don't know. I can't remember.
Shocker.
You haven't seen his new setup?
Who, Jamie's?
Yeah.
Last time I saw it was at Bass Wars Finals.
I'm telling you, he had 1 amp per coil.
And wonder why he lost subs during. Yeah, okay. Eventually, we'll teach the man how to make a build that holds together.
That thing was nasty. I'll tell you
I
right
bet
now.
it is. I bet it is. It's always nasty, but we got to teach him about longevity. It's not always about hammering it as hard as you. Sometimes you got to make it last a little, Jamie.
True. Absolutely. Next year I'm coming for you. Give me some more trophies. Yeah, you have to work on that one. Maybe not. We'll see. What's up, Brad? How are you, sir?
What up? What up?
No testing with power. Yeah, see, that was Jamie's fault. He didn't have a whole lot of testing beforehand. Oh shit.
Jamie doesn't. His test is send it. That's the
Well,
Brodowski test.
he tried to do a little bit of testing, but wasn't able to.
Yeah, it was called. Hold on. What happens if I turn the knob all the way up? There, that's your test right there. Jamie doesn't know how to. Jamie has no limiter. There's no governor on him.
He knows. I would disagree. He knows the limit of his system. He knows where he can turn it up and turn it down. So
His limit is when something starts smoking or comes flying and smokes you in the head. That's the Brodowski. That's his turn down point.
come on now.
Jamie goes hard. I love him for it.
Absolutely. Looks like we got a special guest in here. I don't know if he's got his camera working, but let's bring him in.
Hell no, I'm not putting a camera on my PC. That's fucking weird.
Why is it weird,
No,
dude?
it's not. I mean, how else are you supposed to do Omegle? I'm saying.
I don't
like,
know. I know what Omegle is. I've seen the videos of it, but I've
I
never.
don't even know what Bagel is.
All my
Travis
laptops
knows what
have it,
Omegle is.
but no, my PC doesn't. No.
Yeah,
Well, I'm disappointed. This was not the. I don't get to see that sexy mustache and that man.
There's still a
this is
picture there. That relatively looks like how I look right now about a year ago. I don't know. The beard's a little bit longer right now.
Look, man, I paid for the premium subscription. This is not the premium,
I know, we only get the half, Travis.
right?
Shit.
So how are you, Travis?
Good. I just got back from looking at our new shop area, I believe. So that's pretty neat. We're 2.5 times the size shop as we have been in. There, and most of it's AC now. So we'll only have a little itty bitty warehouse, and then most of it is AC work area.
So it's bigger than the one that you had like 2-3 years ago, the big double bay
No.
monstrosity. Oh, okay.
No, not that one. I wish. And that was the triple bay. That was.
Triple bay. My bad.
Yeah, get it right.
My bad.
But yeah, that one. No, not that one. So this one is 1,800 something square feet, and then 1,200 of that is air conditioned workspace, and then 600 of it is evaporatively cooled, and I say cooled very fucking loosely because we need cooling here. That just blows hot air around, so you know. But yeah, we can't put 3D printers back there, and I prefer not to put people back there. Greg kind of hates life when I make him work in the hot, so he'll do it. But
Well, bro, he's like 78 years old, man. You can't be doing
I
that
know.
to your elders.
I know, right?
Dude,
And
that's
we make
senior
him carry
abuse.
all the heavy stuff.
You guys are so mean.
I know.
I don't care if he does have, 82-inch biceps. You can't do that to our elders. It's elder abuse.
Great to kick your ass in.
Oh shit.
Only after he gives me a demo.
Yeah, the main thing Greg told me when he started working for me was I don't want to do tedious, like monotonous things. And now Greg welds batteries together all day long, which is tedious and
Tedious and
monotonous.
monotonous.
But he likes it, so it grew on him pretty quickly, especially when we got all the right tools. And now that we're moving into the new shop, I'm actually going to go ahead and order this week our new CNC welder. So we will be looking at increasing our ability to output by about 500%. So we used to only be able to build 100 batteries a week, but we'll be able to build about 500 batteries a week now. Not that we'll need 500 batteries a week. Realistically, we think next year is probably going to be a 4,000 to probably 7,000 a year for the 2KFs. So,
Well, I do have a rebuild coming up, sir.
and we have bigger models coming out. Those will definitely be in there. I'm just stuck at this weird impasse where like I have this new cell, and if we went back to the old way we set up pricing, we would be able to offer that extremely competitively to everything else. Uh, Problem is, I will piss off all the great people that have been selling our equipment this last year and have picked up into these new products because we're talking about significantly slashing margins on literally everyone's end to be able to keep up. And that's kind of one of the things that makes us special is uh, we give a pretty good offering to the consumer, and we give a really good offering to the dealer also. So people want to buy and sell our products. So it's scary, and that's weird. That's one of the weird things that gets pulled into development of like, are we going to be able to sell enough of these, and are we going to do it in a way that's not going to cause attrition somewhere else and mess everything up? So
That's kind of always a hard point with any
Well,
product.
yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though, bro. It's business. You know what I mean? Business is
yeah,
business. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, you're still offering a great product at a great price point and
yep.
great support and a whole lot of sexiness, and it just is
Well,
what it is. If
hold
they
on.
can't,
I don't know about the support because Travis sucks at answering the phone.
Well, absolutely, I do suck at
nobody,
answering,
you don't know, you don't call
but
Travis.
Well,
but
no, because I'm not special enough
here's
to have a phone number.
here's here's the thing. So since we've hooked up with Mad, they are gonna be able to field about 90% of our dealers' questions. Um, and then the basic stuff, we put out a lot of literature there to get the information because I get emails almost every week of people reading the blogs that we put out um, and them having like some follow-up questions from the blog and stuff like that. So, and now that we have the NXT out and it is something that is going to be in a considerable amount more people's hands than, the HP, uh, in comparison, we would sell, uh, our best year selling HPs, I think we sold 650 to 700 of them in a year, which isn't bad. That's a good revenue stream, but those were extremely low profit. Um, like like I was starving profit, and like we knew that wasn't super sustainable. But then we got into the HPs, and we moved a similar amount of HPs, but obviously the HPs cost less, and we sold them for less. But we had an increased profit margin. So our profits actually were similar selling HPs because the volume was similar.
Right.
So that was cool. But NXTs, since we've taken over so much of the build, it's not just that the NXT like has more markup in it, because we're not paying markup to a case manufacturer. We're not paying markup to have somebody weld it. Um, we're doing all these processes in house. So instead of that going somewhere else, this is a similar cost scale, um, dollar per watt. When you scale it down, because at $300, it's pretty hard to fit anything into uh, a usable thing at $300. Um,
No, it's an amazing product. I mean, I've seen a couple online, and I've had a couple people message me about them and said that they love them. I haven't personally got to test them, but anything you put out has always been a great battery. So I definitely give you props on that.
and these react a lot differently than like the HPs would. So when you put a load on this, it's only going to drop about a third to a half a volt at full load, and then it's going to slowly drift down after that. So it's going to act more like a big capacitor, which is basically what it is, than it is like a battery. And most people aren't used to that.
Right.
So most of our customers, when we say that it's an 800-watt battery and you can use it on 1500 to 2000 watts, you put a 2K amp on there, and you're probably expecting to hold 12s, but you're probably going to be in the mid 13s. So it's a different experience for most people. And then what's been really cool is we can automatically integrate into the new Teslas, specifically the Plaids, which we've got a Plaid and a Model S at SEMA this year. But the Plaid has a new charger that's a 200 amp 15.5 volt charge system. And
Dang.
yeah, it's a big upgrade over the 80 amp 13.8 volt for a lot of people. And Tesla has, I don't know where this came from. It came from Tesla. I don't know how people go about getting it, but we have a small guide of like how you're supposed to set that electrical up and what you're supposed to put in there. Caps and batteries are okay. But you have to pre-charge the batteries or caps to the same voltage of the charger and stuff like that, or you'll trip internal sensors and stuff. So we will have one of those in the Powerbase booth, and then one in American Finishes, I believe. So we'll have pictures up of those and everything. But they work so well for that application, because most people are not gonna play a solid bass tone for 10 minutes at a time. You know, you only need power for a little bit of time, and in comparison to a normal like Maxwell 3000 bank, you can put about a 70 amp load on that for 20 seconds when charged at 14.8, and you'll hit about 12 volts. In comparison, you can put a 60 amp load on.
Hi, Jackie.
It's a hack.
And it's going to stay in the 13s for about 45 seconds. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's significantly more capacity, but
Now that's just on battery, no alt charge, whatever. That's
there's
just
nothing
strictly
added to
battery
it.
load.
And it doesn't mean that the NXT beats a traditional capacitor in every single way, shape, or form, though.
Does it have a voltmeter on the top?
No,
If
no
not,
volt
then it
on the
sucks.
top.
If it doesn't come with a voltmeter on the top of it,
Unfortunately, this model does not. I
no.
may
I
one
want the
day
one with the
include
big
one.
plastic voltmeter on the top.
I'm honestly considering it for some of the retail units. Dealers.
The old school ones that had the big old.
Yep. So
I mean, if it works, and I mean, before we really knew about it, though, I mean, can't say you didn't run one back in your car back in the days.
I never ran one, but not because I didn't want one, because I was a poor boy and wouldn't spend $60 on that.
I got one from a friend, but I ran one. You know,
Yep.
I mean, we all did back in the day until we knew better.
I got lucky. I ran one, but it was the Illuma Pro one, the big square.
Oh,
box.
the one that actually had caps in it and wasn't full
The
of sand?
actual real one, yeah, not just the big sand filled with a cap.
Nowadays they fill them with tar, so
Yeah.
it's a big.
They got tired of
upgrade
people
over the old
busting them open too easy and going,
Yeah.
so let's just fill them with tar and make it harder for them to do
Yep.
that.
So, but yeah, so for the price point, it is the best product offering that we can offer, and we feel like that there is on the market, and apparently dealers feel so too, because we've had to shoot quite a few people down, as you know, like even John's wanted a ton more of these, and we've have to been like, hey, cool your jets, you can buy like 10 at a time, that's it. So
Not Mr. Robbie.
Huh?
Who are you talking about, Mr. Robbie
No, I mean your
or
local
Mr.
John.
Price? Oh, Daddy. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all you had to say.
Yeah, no, you're John Hart.
Oh,
yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he screwed up on the HPs when I told him to buy them all.
Oh, I know,
And he's
right?
like, "Oh, let me get 3." I'm like, "No, buy them all.
Yeah,
Buy every single one of
and he
them
didn't,
and buy them
and then
now."
he called
And
me
he
back
didn't.
and he was like, "Hey, can I get some more?" And I was like, "No, they're all gone." And then he missed every other time. So, you know,
Yep.
it
He knew he screwed up. He screwed up bad because once those hit the streets here, it was everybody wanted them.
Yep. And NXTs just they definitely aren't going to the same crowd that we have normally sold to. But they're like that's one of the things that like everybody kind of has to understand is the crowd that we have always been in is the 1% crowd. we are like honestly probably all the 0.1 of the 1%. The amount of people with 5 to 10K systems in the world versus the amount of people with 1,000 to 2,000 watt systems in the world is enormously different.
I will say, I know John and those guys over there at Audio Ace, they do a lot of daily builds, motorcycles, just your normal cookie cutter, so to speak, setups. And I mean, that they've used a bunch of pretty much everything they bought from me on the NXTs and have had great success with them.
Yep.
The motorcycle thing seems to be a huge market for them because obviously the motorcycle market out here with the audio thing is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And we actually worked on, just recently I found a new LFP cell. It's not a high power cell, but bike guys, from what we're telling, don't want high power batteries. They want as much energy as they can store so they can run the bike for as long as they can. You know, they're only like, I don't care if you have 30,000 watts on your bike. You're not running 30,000 watts on it.
Right. Off, Travis?
No, I'm on private chat apparently.
Go to comments so you can see chat. Because
I mean, we can go back to IRC if you want.
Well, because James asked how they did on the Harley. There you go.
So they do really well on a Harley setup when the Harley's on. The downside to the NXT though, even though it's a ton more capacity than a capacitor, it's only equivalent to like a 4 amp hour lithium battery. Really.
Yeah, it doesn't have the storage, but it has the recharge capacity.
Yeah. So if you want to run up to 1,000 watts on your Harley and actually have that there and not beat up on your stator and your battery, yeah, adding an NXT in is a really good idea because it's going to shave most of the load off of all the other components. So,
and that can be added with just a normal battery. Absolutely. They don't have to do anything different.
Nope. Since it's a capacitor, it's going to float down to the same voltage as the battery and then be fine. And they're also internally balanced, so there's no worries there. The only real thing that I would ever like caution anybody against is, unlike a traditional capacitor, they have a bottom voltage more like a battery. So if you take it under 8 volts, you need to slow charge it back up before you give it the juice. So, but good news, when there's an issue with the battery, the bottom of the battery glows, or the capacitor, excuse me. But when there's an issue with it, the bottom of the battery glows red. So
every battery I've known that has an issue glows really brightly.
this
if
one,
there's an issue with the battery, they tend to glow.
This one you will see beforehand, and I actually put this in documentation somewhere, but a solid red light is actually not that big a deal. That means the cells are balancing. If it's still on after 10-15 minutes, shoot us a message and we'll probably warranty it out for you. That hasn't actually happened, which is why I kind of put out that blanket statement of, I don't know what's going on there. Go ahead and send it back in. If there is a light blinking, then disconnect it, contact us, and we will send you a return label and a warranty unit. That means a row of cells has died, or the balance wire somehow, some way has come disconnected and the balance board sees a 0 volt on a line. So those are the indicators that, like, hey, my battery's fucky. And that's actually, that's honestly the first time that we've ever had anything that said, hey, my battery's doing something.
I mean, I hate to be like this, but it's immediate. Like, you know, it lets you know, hey, my battery's fucked up. Pull me out now.
I will say, though, that's kind of a good thing, too, because, like, with the HP, great battery, obviously, Jackie's still running the crap out of hers and love it. But,
you don't know,
like you just said, there's no indication, hey, we might have a dead cell and it's just overcarrying. It might be doing this, and sometimes it's hard to tell. You know, if you're running a giant bank of alternators or something like that, your voltage may still be looking solid, but yet there is something that you just don't know about until it's too late. So I think that's a great idea, having the lighting system in it.
I agree.
And I think we'll continue that through other products and other lines also. It's not hard to make the balance lights visible. So
I have a question for you while we got you on here, Travis, of a technical sort. Maybe other people have had this. Jackie's HP. I've noticed I can tell like when she starts the car when the balancer's going
Uh-huh.
and it's working because you can hear it sounds like alternator whine. And
You
then
shouldn't hear
after a
anything from
couple
our
minutes,
balancers.
once it warms up and it hits flat voltage and everything is good after a couple minutes, it goes away.
I'm actually
So-
willing to bet that that is actually alternator whine, because what's
It's
happening in the
working
first couple
harder.
minutes? Well, what's happening is that, yeah, in the first couple minutes, the alternator's working its ass off to bring that battery back up.
Gotcha.
Because there's a reason I don't use the balancer that a lot of the people use on like their C-Maxes and stuff, or the ones that are used on that everybody used to use on the LTOs before they went to the capacitor based ones. Yeah, those. Yeah, those and the LTO ones can be very noisy.
Very.
Both
They suck.
audibly, like you could hear the actual balancer working, and then you could hear it in your system, and that's an AC ripple through the system, and that's, I don't know if you care about how your stuff sounds, that's not good, but we use a different inductive form of balancing that shouldn't cause, and we have not measured any AC ripple on the output of our batteries. So
Okay. I was just curious on that because it's just
Yep.
something I've noticed. And like even recently, like her HO alt went out and we threw the stock one on there and it's still the same process.
Yep.
I was like, you could tell when as it's raising that voltage back up after sitting, to normal charging voltage, you can hear it and then it slowly tapers off and goes away.
Yep.
So,
and that's realistically just the battery charging up more than likely. So
okay. Like I said, it's not a huge problem or a huge issue. I just was curious if that was just a thing or if I needed to worry or what, because but it's always done it. So
yeah. No, I'm willing to bet that that's stress on the alternator more so than actually the HP. But you can measure it. Like that's the thing. If you hooked a scope up to the battery, if it's emitting noise, it'll be there. You know what I mean?
Okay, I might have to try that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be an experiment. So that's not something that I've done, but that would be neat.
You have to make a video of this, Sam. We
Yeah.
want to see this.
I think I will do
Scoping a
that.
battery.
Scoping the battery. I got that fancy fluke scope, so we'll give it a spin and see what happens.
Jeremy asked about HP40s. HP40s are currently being held back for redesign. I am going to be updating to either Gen 3 LFP from a new vendor, which offers about 2.5 times more discharge, or one of the newer chemistries that is launching in 2023. I'm not gonna allude exactly to what, but there's a couple new chemistries coming out in 2023 that are going full production. Some of them are stateside made cells. We're hoping to get those. If not, we do know of some Chinese vendors that we should be able to source these through also, but those should be a pretty big deal for the high-end crowd. Those would be really neat. So, and then we also have a larger format NXT cell that we can use now. It's the same size as a 3000 farad capacitor, but it's about 36,000 farads, and you can discharge about 500 amps out of it. It costs a lot though. So if we do them, we're talking about do them in like limited releases. Like we may only build like 100 of them a year or something like that. So it'll be one of those like, hey, if you have a big system and you want to buy a JY Power battery for it, this is the time of year that you're going to do it, and that'll be the
Jimmy's going to go ahead and pre-order at least 10 of them because he's a baller.
So I'll put out performance data.
Waiting for a long time. Trust me.
Oh, I know.
Me and Travis has had these conversations for a while now.
And one other thing that I think we're going to do is we're going to make some support products for Yinlong cells, because we like Yinlong cells, but like there's so many different sources for them in different grades that the value for us to buy and sell Yinlong cells is like next to none. Scotty almost does more of a service by selling those than he does make a really good profit. If he's clearing 7%, 8% at the end of the day, I would be surprised. But it gets a lot of excess power out there and into people's builds, and a lot of people like them. But
I have,
I
I
think
have
people
them in my build right now.
yeah, they're a good product. But a lot of people have a fair amount of problems with those, and not like so much the excess ones, but it doesn't matter which one you buy if you turn your bank on its side and then go drive around on bumpy roads, and all that weight is supported on the studs. So, but currently all the brackets that are made in China like stick up on top, so you wouldn't be able to fit normal busing on there. So we've been talking to a local CNC company to make us ABS spacers for the in-log cells for everybody, and they'll interlock, so you can make as big a banks as you want. Yeah, so
Because I have 10 banks in mine right now.
and this would slide over the top and bottoms and leave like the stud exposed on both ends, so you'd have to take your bus bars off, but they would slide over and cover up most of the cell, and they'd be about a ½ inch thick, and a ½ inch of that would be recessed, holding the cells and spacing them apart and taking all that stress off of the stud and putting it onto the body of the cell where it should be.
Well, why don't you send me a test fit for 10 of them, and we can talk, and let's get this going.
Yeah, well, and it won't. We'll actually probably fire some off next month, so that won't be a problem. ABS is readily available. ABS is readily available locally, so it's not something that we have to like ship in sheets from China or anything. We're doing everything that we can right now to manufacture everything that we can in-house and source as much as we can from the United States, because we kind of see what's going on globally, and we've been left out to dry before, and we don't want to be left out to dry. So
well, I mean, I'm not in a huge hurry for them because I'm getting ready to rip my build apart and rebuild it. But I definitely have 10 banks of them right now, and I'm using them as we speak until I rip it apart. But I'm definitely very interested in them until you can finally produce me some high wattage.
Did I mention that I'm on 10-year-old AGMs here? I mean, Jimmy's fine. We're not worried about him.
Shut up, man.
Yeah, we I have 2 banks of the larger format NXT cells on the way. One of the downsides to this, which has kind of been more so the sticking point, is these need laser welded, and Scotty has that ability to do in-house, and Scotty would be happy to do it for me too, but without us doing it in-house, it's not cost effective enough to do it in the United States. So doing it in China, that adds a month turnaround time, and may make it harder to airship in, because right now we airship all the NXT parts in that aren't US based. So that is weird for us.
That's actually a pretty funny comment. There you go, Travis.
Well, it will be coming back. I can't talk about any particulars or anything like that, but it will be coming back maybe next year. Like there's the possibility that I'm ready to do it next year. It's a big financial commitment. That's kind of the big thing. Regardless of whether we have sponsors, it doesn't matter. Working on the cube, I mean, if you think about how long it takes you to deal with your one sub setup and do things on your one sub setup, it takes 40 times longer to do it on the cube. So everything is time and money absorbent with it. So and when I do bring it back, I'm not gonna bring it back on a ton of power. Probably the most power that I'll put it on again is 20K, because we just never really used much more than that. So
you don't need it. I
No.
mean, it was a pretty efficient, nasty build when it was all put together on kind of relatively low wattage already.
Well, and when Hunter and I fired off the last time, in the greenhouse. It was like December or something like that. The batteries were frozen, and we did a 69.9 on about 10,000 watts. So it and that was with the cab finally sealed and like the doghouse dog thing not flopping. Because when we'd always meter it before, we'd get like a 66, 67 out of it, but that thing would be open about 3 inches, releasing just a little bit of pressure.
Right.
So,
See, I never even got a demo of it after you fixed the passenger side and sealed all that. Like, I got the previous version demo before
What?
it was full extremed out and nasty.
well, and we once we extremed it out, we actually had to turn it down because that first Icky Boom that we took it to, we made like 3 or 4 people pass out unintentionally. So
Sure.
and I wasn't even one on the knob, I don't think. So I think it was Yui. But
Oh.
yeah. But like, I mean, it was hot too, and people were drinking. Don't get me wrong, but like, if
Oh,
you've
yeah.
been in the
People
cube
were
and
drunk
had
as
that
hell.
dizzy feeling, that dizzy feeling is it trying to dislocate your brain. So if we continue to go into it farther and farther, that dizzy feeling goes into passing out. So
Brain damage.
yeah, and like when I heard Chris Lee was gonna be like murdering Jason,
Jason's in here commenting right now.
yeah, I see him. He's still alive, thank God.
He didn't show up.
Good,
Well, neither did Chris Lee, but
good.
Well, Jason was there all weekend, actually, believe it or not, Dan Kerr.
oh, was he? I didn't see
I,
him.
I
Jason
did say,
DePew was there all weekend.
I
I
thought he
see
was.
videos of him and him snapping pictures with everybody.
But
He's
yeah,
there.
like no matter how you feel about anyone, somebody's head exploding in our sport would not be good for.
But do you know how many
But
views that would get, bro?
it'd get the amount of views that would get the legislators' fucking attention. Do you understand who is in office right now? Do you think
Right.
Biden wouldn't pounce on people's heads exploding because music's too loud? Oh
I'm going to tell you right now, Jason, as nasty as that build is not a 72 right now.
No, he was
And-
not handing out 72's demos. I
And
was there.
he would never turn it up that loud on anybody, trust me. I
well,
made him actually turn it up one time when
I will say he was probably handing out low to mid 60s. He wasn't busting
Yeah.
nobody's head. Not saying he couldn't have, but he was
accidentally
being
slipped
conservative.
on the knob once
Yes.
when Chris was in there. Chris Munson was in there, and he felt so bad because he hit Chris with like a 69 and change, and like Chris just what everybody does in a mid 69, and yeah. And he was worried that he hurt Chris right then and there. So
It's
he
not
absolutely
fun. I've
wasn't
taken
handing
a
out
70 plus.
72.
I have taken the 70 plus from Chris Lee. And
Yeah.
he straight up, I got out and he said, bro, you just took everything.
Yeah, that's gross. Like you're inside.
I was just like, of course, trying to play it off. That was at
Yeah.
TDH like 2 years ago. I get out trying to play it off, but it was the
No.
around the corner reaction of just like,
You had
Dude.
internal bruising, bro. Bulgaria.
I sent in Chris's just in the driver's side this year at Slamology, and I'm telling you, just being in the driver's side, I was pretty close to tapping out myself. So I couldn't imagine what that guy next to me felt because
Yeah.
Chris was paying attention to me, not the guy next to me that was over the cow.
Uh-huh.
And
I'll
I
say
feel
between
sorry for that
Chris.
guy because I wasn't about to tap out sitting
Oh
where
no,
I
that wall side's a whole different bird.
But
It's a whole different bird.
cow. No, I
Whole
know
different bird.
my limits.
I'll
That would be
never
like
go
me
outside of my
crawling over Carlos's build, or
I
I
did
mean,
that too.
guys,
That's a death
no,
sentence.
thank
Death
you.
sentence.
I was just more shocked my fat ass fit on the other side of Carlos's build. I think it was more entertaining watching me get over the hump than it was watching
Well,
the
and-
demo.
Like if you look at RPs and stuff, RPs is way smaller than Carlos's. Like it's little itty bitty. So
Yeah,
and
but
how
RP
about
doesn't
how about all
fit
that
in
drama?
anywhere.
Not like I gotta say I'm so proud of RP and Hank for being reasonable adults in this situation.
For
And
once.
Alan,
I mean, I hate to
Alan,
say it. I love them
shame on
both,
you.
but Hank
But
loves to talk shit more than anybody. I'm surprised he was
Yeah.
actually very nice about it.
bro,
But
Hank has been the most tame that I've and honestly,
Yeah,
Hank
where did this
Hank
hate come
Hank,
from?
well, Hank is literally on top of the world right now, and you know what? He's being a gracious winner, and I think that's fucking really cool. So yeah,
well, he
but
he truthfully always has been, though. I mean, honestly,
yeah,
I competed against him. What
he can be a
2000?
troll, but when you compete against him, he's generally not like being the bad guy or trying to fuck with you at all.
No,
So
we're 2019. He was like 4 dB ahead of me, and I knew I had no chance at all. But he actually called me and talked to me and messaged me and tried to help me out and tried to get me a little bit louder.
yeah,
And I thought that was pretty fucking cool. And he never even knew who I was back then. It's
well,
when I had the Nitro and I was competing in USAC. But
even though
I
me
went
and
there
him
and
beef,
I took a second place to Hank at USAC. But you know what? That was a respectable second place to me.
yep, yep. And even though we beef, when Billy asked me like who in that area should I go to talk to, who was the first person I said? You know, the only person I know and trust in the area that would be interested is Hank. So, but Alan, like, shame on you. Stop being such a little girl. What the fuck? Like, take the L, go get louder, and do your
Right.
fucking thing.
I don't know. That was. I don't know. All I'm going to say is petty. The word I
Yeah.
want to use is
I
petty.
don't know. I've been kind of watching it. Like I watched it kind of gradually. Like at first, it was just kind of both of them fucking just. You're both kings of the hill. I mean,
They
you're
are.
both the two loudest guys in the world. Period. Hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, what more do either one of you really have to prove? But at first, I just kind of took it as them just throwing it back and forth, friendly kind of, and then it just kind of somewhere veered off a little bit.
Yep.
I'm like,
It got weird.
It got weird. Yeah, I was like, damn, it was cool at first just watching the two Goliaths.
And now it's
just
every day, like I see posts of people whining about this, and it's so annoying.
That's why I say I'm not sure if it's so much Alan and Hank thing, or if Facebook has just stepped in and ran left field with it. You know what I mean?
That
Because
could
now
be
you've
it,
got
too.
the peanut gallery chiming in on it, and they're not really privy to the position that those two guys are in.
Yeah.
It gives them something to do, something to talk
Right.
about.
Facebook loves drama.
Yep,
We
absolutely.
all know that. Just the interwebs.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Alan comes back with. Most definitely. He just needs to shut up about how much RP has in it, because it doesn't, like, when you're in a top fuel drag race, you can't complain that the other guy's got 4,000 horse. Like, you didn't spend that much money, bro. I'm sorry.
I will say it, but I will step back too, and I will also give, we already know RP and hey, kill it in the testing. They kill it in every aspect of what they do. And I will say too, on Alan's behalf, looking at his situation and knowing a bit more about him, where he's at and how hard it is for him to even get equipment or get stuff shipped in. Access to some of the things that we have that they just don't.
There's a reason
I gotta respect that too.
Those cells say loud cap and not LTO. Like, and I 100% support that decision. Like, I've tried importing into Brazil before. I haven't tried importing into South America before. It sucks. So I agree with what they did there. And especially since that's outside of the jurisdiction of, anybody. But yeah, I agree with how Alan got those, and I'm glad he does have power now. But that also puts pressure on it.
Well, I know Andrew was telling me a story about they were just trying to get him some tape at one point, the SPL tape, as we call it. And it took almost 2 months to get him tape.
But
I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, it's almost impossible to get anything into there to him to do anything.
Bro, if you would have told Hank that like SPL tape would have fucking taken him 2 months to get there, you know what they would have done? Went and clear coated it and fucking bumped it out, which is louder than SPL tape.
Absolutely.
Sure, I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like that also puts a difference in like
a lot of us here take for granted that yes, we can just hop online and get anything we want.
Oh yeah, for
or
sure.
Call somebody and get whatever we want. And Alan doesn't have that luxury. So I
That's
give the
when you
props
gotta.
to him too
That's
on
when you
that.
gotta get creative. That's all I
Yes.
gotta say is that's when you
And
gotta
then
get creative.
he has. I mean, you
Yep.
don't hit the numbers that he has hit without getting very
Oh yeah.
creative. And the same with Hank and RP. You know, you don't get those kind of numbers without just an assload of knowledge and countless hours of testing and redoing and testing and redoing, and the commitment that both of those guys have brought to the scene is insane.
Well, and
And like I said, I enjoy watching the two Goliaths have a friendly rivalry. I just hate that Facebook is now souring it a bit.
I definitely agree with RP's approach more, because when you're working in this kind of an application, you want as many coils to dissipate power as you possibly can. So it sucks that he has to use, one of the most expensive subwoofers on the planet at the same time, but that's part of the name of the game. And
you want to be the best, you gotta have the
yeah,
best. I mean,
yep. And you need to put
that's the way it is.
2 of the biggest amps that you can possibly fit on each subwoofer, so that you've got at least 20 to 30,000 watts of subwoofer.
That's insane.
And you need it though. Like I watched Dan go through the same process when he was doing a no wall 1-2, and he had 2 DD18s, and I believe they were the Z3s because Z4 is on his loud. And he had a strap pair of twisted 8.3s per coil. So yeah, he's juicing each one with like 40 to 60K, and
That's crazy.
Like, he had such minimal gains from 20 to 60K that like he finally abandoned going above 20K a woofer. And like, cause he's folding the heavy duty DD cones, the heavy duty carbon fiber ones, not the paper ones.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. He was
That's
pushing them
crazy.
out. Like he was pushing them out the strongest way that they are. He was just like, where it was pointed in, it would then be pointed out. So yeah, and he would only get like 10 burps before he'd do that. So,
but you gotta think the kind of power and force that was on that cone.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just insane.
There was only like 0.8 gain, I believe, between 20 and 40,000 watts. I don't know that there was much more than like a tenth or two in between 40 and 60. So,
I mean, you're finally there's a limit. I mean, you can shove all the power. Eventually, you're just going to cap out.
you start hitting actual thermal power compression around 20,000 watts. You start to feel it around 10, but it starts to become unmanageable at 20,000 watts. And the actual definition of that is when you're putting so much power into the coil that more energy gets turned into heat than it does any kind of magnetism.
What's up, Hi-Fi?
So a lot of people will run out of X-Max. They'll run into port compression, or they'll run into something else, and they'll say that they've run into their thermal
Power compression, yeah.
Power compression, but power compression is a defined term. So, yeah, that's definitely not what the vast majority of people are running into.
Would you agree with there's also a limit of the vehicle as well?
I mean, to a degree, but like, I mean, we're talking about blowing seals out and stuff like that. When we're in an extreme vehicle, though,
there isn't no limit in an
there
extreme.
is no limit except for like your theoretical limits, and then your efficiency losses in between that and real life. So, you know, where is that? Like, I think if I remember right, 190 or 195 is all that we can do in normal atmospheric pressure. So, you know, what's the efficiency loss that we're going to see there? We don't really know because nobody's ever really gotten there. But like,
speaking of the atmospheric pressure thing, that's something I've had some conversations with about, like, guys that one of my good friends, Travis Jennerman, moved from here to Denver.
Oh, it'll change your score.
And absolutely. He said it's a huge difference.
Yeah, massive. Like almost a dB. Kurt,
we have a competitor down here. His name's Nate Scow. He will go to each show and he will test the atmosphere, the barometric pressure, all that stuff outside, and we'll sit in the back of the parking lot and will do 5, 6, 7, 8 test hits and know exactly where everything is, what volume, what knob, what frequency, everything on his system before he'll even pull up in the lanes. So
Because
yes,
he
I'm
runs clamp
100%.
classes,
Yeah.
and when you run those clamp classes and you're really pushing it to that cunt hair,
I would
you
agree.
want to run 500 watts or 501 or whatever the allowance is. You have to make those adjustments because humidity, temperature. People always used to wonder why we painted the roofs of our cars. Like, we wouldn't paint the rest of the car. We'd literally just paint the roof of the car white. And that is
Temperature.
because there's a 40-degree difference on a hot day for the skin temperature.
Yep.
And that's massive on scores and repetitiveness. So
It change. I mean, it can change everything from resonant frequency to the pressure. Everything. It changes the whole field.
Yep. Humidity plays a big role, like how dense the air is with stuff plays a big role. So, but yeah, that's why SQ is pretty cool because you just like turn it up and listen to it after you're done.
That's why I did demo, because none of that matters.
Yeah, the cube never went into competition because A, it's not allowed. Like, I specifically built it so that it wouldn't be allowed in competitions, and B, I don't really like being told what to do. So
No, not you. Come on.
right,
I think Courtney begs to differ on that. We know who runs that place.
shit, she's up there sick.
Right. Most definitely. Most definitely. So, any other big plans of anything coming up, Travis?
I mean, besides dumping
SEMA.
a bunch of money on new tools, we got SEMA coming up
SEMA.
that we'll be doing some of that stuff. That'll be fun.
What's up with the Explorer?
I don't know. I have to get a hold of Stevie Pooh and ask.
Well,
Let's get it ready.
what I heard, he was going to be ready for Vegas.
Yeah. So
I heard its debut was going to be Vegas. The showdown.
should be so.
Well, I figured the debut would be Vegas no matter what.
I'm
Right.
kind of pretty disappointed I'm not going to make it this year. So
That's okay, Jimmy. It happens.
I'm butthurt too because
I'm
I'm not going to make it either. I don't get my quality spoon time with Travis this year.
I missed so many shows this year, and I won't be at a ton of shows next year like we have been previously. Like I'll probably go to 3 to 5 probably. Sundown show, Slam. I may come to Wake the Dead. That looks like a lot of fun.
It really is a fun show. It's definitely a fun show.
the only thing that sucks about Wake the Dead is it's only a 1-day show.
Oh,
That's the only
But
negative
it is
thing.
a very, I will say this though, it is a long 1-day show. Like it goes till 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And which I kind of like the fact that it goes into the night because, the light game comes out. Everybody's got their LEDs now. It kind of gives a different kind of vibe when you're demoing at night and see all the bullshit. So that's kind of a cool little part of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's not as far of a drive for us. Everything's like 20 hours away for us, but
No, see, what you're going to do is you're going to fly into St. Louis. You're going to come hang out with me and Jackie, stay with us for a day or so, 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month. I don't give a shit. And then you can just hop in the car and ride down with us for Wake the Dead. So got this figured out.
I'll drive to you a couple days ahead of time, and we can hang out for sure.
Whatever you want to do, sir.
If that's the case, you have to go through my house to get to his house.
No, he doesn't. He comes south of it and then comes up. No. I know that route. It doesn't go through KC.
We generally try and drive the most legal route for our after curricular activities. So
Oklahoma, that's where you want to go. So yeah, you're going to come through Oklahoma.
no, I'm pretty sure I don't want to go through Oklahoma.
The hell you don't. No, you do want to go through Oklahoma.
Are they full wreck?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And it's dirt cheap.
Okay. Well, shit, it's
Yes.
cheap enough here now too. It's not dirt cheap, but like, man, I grew up on shit being street prices up in Iowa. Okay.
Yeah, there's that part.
yeah. So the $15 fucking dab grams down here are pretty attractive. It's 2 blocks away from my house, so it's like.
Well, it's
walking in
Vegas. Don't they have like dab delivery and stuff in Vegas now? Like it's like Uber Eats or whatever.
Yeah, I don't get a service charge though.
Oh yeah, there's that. And you got to tip them and pay the service charge and.
Yep.
Only ballers like you would know that, Dan.
Shoot, we ain't got it here. I can tell you that. Hey, we ain't got delivery here. It's
Well,
just
sure you
DiGiorno.
do. It's just, you know,
It's the old school delivery. Yeah, old school delivery.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
yeah,
always-
there's always been delivery, but
It's where,
Dude.
you know, you tell them they got to hang out for 15 minutes so you don't look suspicious.
I was gonna say there's not an app for that, but there is. It was called text messaging. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh, shit.
I do want to say, because I see that he's watching, happy birthday, Jason Lucas. Today's his birthday.
Jason!
Happy birthday.
Oh, peg leg himself.
Looks like Kyle asked what kind of glues or adhesives for the door seals and stuff. Honestly, your high-end automotive urethanes.
Yeah.
Whatever is available to you that's a high-end automotive urethane. If none are available, PL3X. That is
PL3X.
Only 3. Just PL max it. Go to the top.
Bro, I like to be able to move and work with glue. Not have it be the consistency of peanut butter. So I skipped the 8. I've never used Max. Max came
I will
out,
say I think the 8 is actually stronger or better than the max in my opinion.
it
They're both
probably is
insane.
because Max probably came out as in between 3 and that, because using 8 unless you've like heated it is a pain in the ass. So that's why I've always opted for 3.
100%.
I've never had wood rip off of a metal substrate with 3. I've always had the wood shear itself. So, fuck dealing with anything that's like harder to work with. It's kind of why I don't like. It's not that I condone or don't condone, but I don't use 16-pound foam like anywhere. I use 8-pound foam or 4-pound foam. pretty
Well,
much
you were the one that told me the 16-pound you could literally drill and tap it. It's so dense.
Yeah, but then I found out you could do that mostly to fucking 8 too. Like,
Oh.
yeah. So an 8 spans about 1.5 to 1.75 times, where 16 feels like it almost shrinks when you make it. So
Damn.
16 is excessively expensive. It costs just as much for 5 cubic feet of the 16 as it does for 10 cubic foot of the 8.
Well, see, I discovered something for us poor people when I was doing signs. Like, if you go to Home Depot, they sell the post hole foam. It's like
Yeah.
the 2-baggy thing you can shake up and then you squish it and you shake it up and you do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, for the poor people out there like me, that's like the plan
So-
B, that we can't all get the fancy U.S. composite stuff.
You're actually not doing yourself a favor there. Not because that's bad stuff at all. That's really good stuff. But that is like 3-ish pound foam. And
It's very
Go look.
dense.
It does
It's not-
expand quite a bit. So yeah, I mean,
yeah. It's not as dense as you might want it to be. But here's the thing. Go to the US Composite site and tell me how many cubic feet of 4-pound foam you get out of it. Because you get like 20-something, 30-something cubic feet out of the 4-pound foam. The kit. Yeah. So for like $200, you can fill your entire car with 4-pound. Yeah, and I don't mean like where you want it to go. I mean the entire fucking vehicle.
we'll just float the car. It's all
Yeah.
good.
So
It's
no,
just a
you
lot
can
of holes.
get smaller kits from them. So even if you want to go with a lighter foam and not spend as much money, that's okay. I would still, unless you like need it that day or whatever. But if you can,
Right, in a
pre-plan
pinch,
by
it does
about a
work.
week-
I mean,
Yeah,
we've used
yeah.
it. It does work in a pinch.
Absolutely,
So.
absolutely.
And I will say the
But-
cure time on it is incredibly fast. Like it.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do like about it. It
You
cures
need to
up
work with it quickly.
quickly.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And you
Pour
need to
and
have
go.
all
I mean,
your
be ready.
steps.
Or
Yeah,
go,
have all
absolutely.
your steps done. Have everything pre-taped that needs to. All your holes are sealed. I don't even know that I would tape holes, because every time we taped holes, we still had fucking leaks. So, you know, it's not cool dropping like $50 worth of foam on the floor to turn into a puck.
Well, all I can say is the days of the foam in a can are over now.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
great stuff is out the window now. Like,
There's
now we're good.
so
Yeah.
there is a
Loctite
Loctite foam that I like to
Loctite,
use.
yeah,
to
it's
seal.
a closed cell foam.
Yeah, I would not use it to add density. I would not use it to add structure. If you need to fill a crack and keep it airtight though, boom, that's your fucking boy right there. Oh yeah. And you can use that to block off areas where you don't want the other foam to go. And it creates a flexible seal. Yeah. So like, let's say you're working on a truck walkthrough or a blow through. That would be appropriate to go with your accordion boot because it's going to move with the truck and not crack and tear. Where Great Stuff, do not use Great Stuff because it gets hard and will not flex over time. And especially do not use Great Stuff in any kind of application that gets any kind of sun because it just eats it away.
Well, not only that, I've discovered my first time using Great Stuff on the Armada is that it chose to keep expanding for about the next 3 weeks in the sun.
And it'll cause bubbles.
Every day I'd come out and like the little holes in the bottom of my fenders where the vents were that I had filled. Yeah, like every day I'd come out and there'd just be new stalactites hanging out of the fenders. I'm like, great. It just doesn't stop.
When you do spray foam and you spray a lot of it, especially in an enclosed space that doesn't get air, you have to do like a 6 to 12 inch segment at a time and then let it cure. You need to give it time to cure so that that center is getting air. It needs air to cure.
Oh yeah, I found that out the hard way too.
Yep.
That was why the never-ending expansion kept happening because I just went crazy and started filling, and for like I said, about 3 to 4 weeks, it was still.
We've had side panels bulge out because of it.
Oh, look at that! We got Chris Box in the house tonight.
It's this Pride night. You know it.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, bud.
It's Mr. Idle Demo. He just showed up.
Yeah, Kyle, if you go to a website called the US Composites, you can look at their different pour foams. They also have the resin that you would use. I can't remember exactly the number, but it's a thin set resin. As Dan has found out, don't use tabletop resin. After we even told Dan, hey, don't use tabletop resin, Dan was like, I'm going to try tabletop resin.
Hold on. I got to back up. Right there was more to that experience than originally.
Oh, yeah. Dan told me that he was too poor to buy the good stuff, and that he was going to use the cheap stuff. So
Here was the craziest part. All right, so we know we tried it. I didn't have a clamp. I didn't brace it. We did it in a hurry. I mixed it fast. It was user error 1,000% from the get up. But here was the craziest part is we broke the first set of windshields we tried because I'm an idiot. We were just doing it all wrong from
You're experimenting.
Everything. Yes. But here was the crazy part. So broke the windshields, threw it in the dumpster at work. Dumpster was empty at the time. Didn't anything, just pissed off at that point, didn't care. So 5-6 days later, now, I mean, it was micro bubbled so bad you couldn't see anything out of this glass, period. So that's when I just gave up on it. But about a week later, they emptied the dumpster, and I guess the windshield got wedged in there and never came out. So when they put the dumpster back, the windshield's still laying in the bottom just to haunt me again. Well, I get to looking at it, and I go into, I'm like, I'm looking. So I hopped my fat ass in the dumpster and started looking, and there's maybe, a 3 foot by 2 foot section that wasn't cracked or shattered or anything in the center still. And it was crystal clear. Not a bubble to be seen. Nothing. I mean, it was absolutely. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! It's been laying in the bottom of a dumpster for a week, and it cured perfectly.
Did you guys use a pressure pot?
No, we did everything wrong. No, we literally duct taped the sides of the dang. Dude, no, we duct taped the sides of it and put the big wood clamps. All the way around the glass, except the top. Left a gap at the top, and we mixed it with a drill like idiots because we were in a hurry, and literally just poured it in and watched it fill up the glass.
Aerate it afterwards.
You got a hand mix
of course, it got about almost to the top of the glass, and then the tape just gave way, and the windshield started doing dumb shit, and then they cracked, and it just went all to hell really fast. But the fact that after it had been sitting in the bottom of a dumpster for a week under God knows what, for some reason, the one solid section that wasn't busted cured. I mean, crystal glass clear, not a bubble to be seen, not a ripple. I'm like, how? How did that even happen? Like, I don't know.
Because at that time it didn't cure.
There was nothing we could have done any more wrong when we attempted that.
I need somebody to make me a damn windshield for my Tahoe because I'm tired of blowing it.
It legitimately takes probably a week to fully build a windshield between prepping it, pouring it, and letting it set before it can be shipped out. And that's
See,
not
we
like
have
getting all
the,
the
the
stuff
windshield
in.
manufacturing plant like right around the corner from the house. I'm just gonna pull up one day and be like, "Yo, do this."
Well, yeah, if you could just get them to laminate another couple sets of on there with there, because what they use is they use plastic in between them and they heat them.
Yeah,
So
Fuego windshields, one of the biggest aftermarket. They're actually right 20 minutes from here in
yep.
Illinois.
And
So I
I
thought
mean
about literally just pull it up and being like, "Hey, what do you think about this?"
that's how light duty armored windshields are actually made. They just stack more glass up. Like glass will catch bullets if it's thick enough. So
Joe,
yeah.
you make me one. Let's talk.
but like quite honestly, like if people are selling doubled up windshields, at least how Hunter was building them, and I have some input on, like, I'm not gonna talk about it online because somebody had to pay me for this info, but there's some things that can be done to increase the longevity, and it's not an expensive part or process or anything. It's not difficult to do, but there's something that you could do. But I still expect these windshields to cost $1,500 to $2,000. There's a massive amount of man hours and like homemade tools.
I'm
And
broke. I can't afford that.
I understand, but like that's what it
I'm
like.
on.
You're
I'm on
asking
window.
for.
I'm
You're
on
asking for
window
like,
number 5, but I just can't spend $2,000 on a windshield.
Only
you've
five,
already,
you pussy.
yeah, but you've already spent $500 on a windshield.
He's only on
I
number
Please.
five, Travis.
don't pay
Those are
$500
rookie
on a
numbers.
windshield. I only pay
You got to
$200.
pump them numbers up.
You pay $200 a piece, so you've already almost paid for a full double windshield, bud. And you'll continue to until you decide to nut up. Like
I'm
I've been in
getting
your
ready to
spot.
I'm getting ready to rip it all apart and just steel cage the whole vehicle, so it won't need that.
Well, then you can go to plexi and stack plexi. Like stacking 1-inch plexi is by far the cheapest way to go about an extreme windshield. And that's still not going to be
I
cheap,
want
but
the
we're talking
stock look
hundreds of
outside
dollars.
now.
Huh?
I was thinking about doing like maybe an extreme like plexi, like a 3-window inside with a steel cage, but still keep the
Oh,
stock
you
look.
want to do the Greg
Do it like
Corbin?
Greg's. Yeah,
Yeah,
do it
he
like
wants to do the
Greg's.
Greg Corbin.
I
Yeah,
fully support that. I think that's cool.
I actually love that idea that Greg did. I thought that was completely badass and amazing.
See, and that's another thing is I don't. Yeah, I know that sucks, Joe. I don't want to lose the drivability of the vehicle because my Tahoe drives.
Bull crap! It gets towed
Yeah, you
everywhere
can.
now. I don't want to hear
Yeah, you
about it.
can, Joe. All you got to do is take one of the windows out. And it's on the inside, actually. So there's a pretty big argument that it isn't obstructing anything, depending on how it's built. So you can't have anything other than DOT glass in the DOT spot. It does not say anything about putting a 100% clear window in between you and.
I don't know, man. There are states out there with laws.
I'm not
like
saying
you
that
can't
there
have
aren't
a
states.
phone or a radar
I'm
detector
saying
stuck to your
here.
windshield. Yeah. Oh,
No,
there's some that are
absolutely.
just assholes. Like no,
Absolutely.
like you can't even have a phone mount suction cup. Well,
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's illegal here. They call it obstructing the view.
that's because you live in Kansas. Sorry.
But yeah, here Greg's 100% legal, and he actually pulls because there's a reason to still be able to pull that window, is because when you're looking through an inch or two of plexi that's angled in any way, it's gonna magnify or make everything smaller. So it's
Well, he's
extremely
18
difficult
feet
to
in the
drive
air.
the
He
tube.
needs to magnify things.
Well,
I mean, he's in
no,
the friggin' stratosphere with it already. So yeah, he has
Well-
to look down at the little people on the road.
Well,
it's
that
bad,
let's
man.
don't forget, his age is starting
Like,
to play a part there too, as well. So
when I would drive the cube around, I would have to stick my head out the side because I didn't know if I was 6 feet away from something or if I was 10 feet away from something.
Straight Ace Ventura, the cube.
Yeah,
crate.
and that's
On
all
a
the
milk
pictures that
crate.
you see of me driving it. I'm usually have my head sticking out the motherfucker.
And riding on a milk crate. Yeah.
So yeah, I drove
And
that
not
thing
only
through
that, I
New York.
mean,
That
what
was
does it matter for
crazy.
Greg's anyway? Because according to what I've read on Facebook, it doesn't count because it's not a daily driver. So Greg's
Thank-
doesn't count. For any of this.
Thankfully, that is a play drama, and nobody is
I know.
actually butthurt about that. There was legitimate concern that, like, on like people watching may fucking start feeling some kind of way and getting pissy about it, but Drew and Greg don't give a shit about it. It's just
Right.
fun.
Screw them if they can't take a joke. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. That was pretty funny, to be truthful.
I told Greg none of it matters because he still ain't gave me a demo.
He won't even hand out full tilt demos anymore. So,
That's probably a freaking good thing.
but I mean, you could sit on his other side and probably be okay. But that's getting put back together, and hopefully that's ready for the showdown. Yeah,
He took it last year. It was pretty nasty.
yeah, he's got some new things in there. I don't know if he's told everybody
No,
about it
they
yet.
just
or not.
have to wait. It's only a couple weeks. Everybody will
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah,
Just wait.
So there's some new stuff in there though. So that's pretty cool. And we'll see how he does. Like, everybody forgets that there's this guy that drives an 80 around.
The drives a
Like,
what?
A 180.
Oh
Greg's
yeah,
the-
yeah, Greg.
Greg's the loudest person that can drive his 180. It's at least one state road legal. I don't know if it is. It's probably
It's got,
legal in
hey,
Iowa.
it's got
too.
license plates. It's got
Yeah.
headlights for it. It's legal.
Then we get inspected here. Like, that thing goes and gets checked every year. So it's fucking legal. And so I think that makes Greg the loudest daily driver in the world, with nobody even coming close. Like, the next
No,
closest person
No.
would maybe be Chris Lee. Maybe.
See,
Like, Chris could
he-
drive.
no,
a
he
van
doesn't
around.
drive that either, though. Not
He
anymore.
doesn't, but I
It's
think he
just-
could. Couldn't he?
Not in North Carolina, he couldn't, or where the hell
Okay.
he's at now. But no, hell no. And I don't think it
Joe?
even has. There's no seats in it. There's nowhere to.
I mean, Joe Price did drive that damn van all the way down to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yes, Joe's van
Yeah.
definitely has a 155 dB
Joe-
belt squeal. I witnessed
so-
it.
Joe drove that van, not everywhere, but he drove that van to a lot of places, even that I told him he shouldn't.
He drove it to Wake the Dead. I'm like, I
Yep.
even asked him. Like, we were
So,
talking. I'm like, did you
I-
actually drive here? He's like, yeah.
I would have to say Joe comes in second, but Joe only comes in second in one way because Joe still technically had a stock cabin.
Yeah, true.
So
True.
Joe is the loudest stock cabin daily driver. You can't see my
Yep,
air
it's
quotes
still
here.
got a dash and a normal,
Yep.
somewhat normal
And
windshield.
then Greg
and yeah,
is
I
the
mean, it's-
loudest daily driver in the entire world, bar none. So, yeah. Neat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah, if you want some loud batteries, that guy welds them together.
Oh man, yeah, I highly recommend putting Wake the Dead on your list somewhere. That's a great show too, man.
Yep.
It's cool.
It really is.
So, and then
Yeah.
I don't know what else we'll do. So maybe a finals.
You should go back to 712.
Maybe.
712 is a blast. It's actually gotten a lot bigger, and they got rid of the music.
So all the raves.
got rid of the
are
music,
done.
what-
All the rave stuff is gone. It's all
Okay.
just car
So it's
audio.
a little bit less drama.
Yeah, it's at a new location that's got a huge bar in there, and it's a really friendly atmosphere now.
Didn't Danny punch somebody there though? Lieber.
Well, that's Lieber. That's too
I
big.
know. I'm just making sure that was the right incident. Like,
But
I'm
other
90%
than-
sure he was the one at fault there. And yeah,
Other than that instance, I can tell you, it's been at the same location for the last 3 years, and we haven't had any problems.
cool. That was the main problem, was that like they just couldn't get, like, I really liked the drag track, and I liked being able to do what we did with Conrank. That was really cool too, but I saw all the extraness attached to that, so it made it
Yes.
hard.
Yeah, and it's just the nonstop music from beginning to end was too much.
Oh, no,
It
man,
never stopped.
I love
Yeah,
that shit.
I was okay, but I mean, they would stop for like 2 hours and then start back up. And I'm talking from they would start at 10 o'clock in the afternoon and play until 9 the next morning, stop for an hour, and then start right back up again. Non-stop music.
What are you talking about? The rave thing or the bass heads?
The rave music.
Ah,
I love rave music though.
I do for an extent.
I just don't
Right.
always love the people attached and the drama attached because there's a lot of extraness involved there. So the music is fine though. I like the music.
I can deal with it for periods, I guess I could say. Small periods of time, but not like 24 hours for 2 days straight. No. I
Oh
was
man,
ready to
you
pull
would
my
have
hair out.
hated me on the way to fucking sundown. Bro, I jammed out that entire car ride there and back. Now it wasn't just like rave music. Don't get me wrong. Like I have a pretty wide taste in music, so
yeah, he threw some Celine Dion in the mix. It was all
a
good.
little bit of Celine Dion, you know.
Mr. Bobby Mansfield in the house. What's up, Bobby?
Bobby!
Bobby. Oh, but
We're
yeah,
all just kind of sitting
I
here.
like driving places.
Yeah.
I like
No, I
listening to
listen to all kinds of music, from rock to rap to country to just everything.
Yep.
So
Why
Same
spend
here.
all this money to not sit there and listen to it? You know.
Right?
100%.
You
100%.
SQ people, I swear.
So what's up with the fancy doors you got now, Dan?
Finally got door panels. Yeah.
What's the new rave about these fancy door panels?
Yeah, I'm digging them.
Right out there and show us these door panels. Come on. You're on your phone anyways. You can do it. Come on.
Oh, we got to show off the door panels. You know, if you came to Wake the Dead, you'd have got to see them.
Well, you know, all of us can afford to go that many trips and that many shows as you do, sir. Some
You
of us
still went to a show. You could have came to Wake the Dead.
that show cost me $100.
Well, you see, you could have just drove to St. Louis and rode with me then. Still gone to Wake the Dead. But no.
Anyway, come on, quit stalling. Show us these doors. Come on.
Oh, man.
Have you seen these fancy doors yet, Travis?
No, I haven't seen them yet.
Oh yes.
Fancy doors. They're not like on Travis's level or Jimmy's level of doors. Mine are basic doors.
Whatever.
Shit. My doors.
I don't
look
have
hot. What are you
82
talking about?
speakers. I don't look like Vlad. You know, I don't have that.
I mean, I've only ever put 12 speakers in one door before.
Is that all?
I've done 80 on the side of the vehicle. 80.
Yeah, we know.
And Dan dropped out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I had to get the switch the light app on it on the phone for the stupid
I was
doors.
gonna say, of course he would drop out to show us his doors. There he
Yeah,
goes.
look, he's like, look at them, guys, aren't they great?
Yeah, they're fancy.
Sam's is purty. I did see those.
Those are
see those. I
fancy
like those.
doors. Look at that. What mids and highs of them, sir?
Crossfire XT Pros and the Crossfire XT Tweeters.
Wow. Big dollar Dan right there. Them are the nice new ones.
Yeah, but I could only afford 3. I couldn't afford 82 of them like you, Jimmy.
Them 3 are probably loud as my 82, though.
No.
Yeah. Let's be true.
Jimmy's looks like it's going to speak Russian at any moment.
The
Dan's
same
come a
guy
long
made
way from
my doors as
stealing
made
my
yours.
knives from everywhere he could. So
Jimmy's is almost Russian.
Not true. Not true at all. I just got a couple horns and a couple speakers in there.
Oh, a couple, huh? Just a couple. Yeah, a couple.
shit,
know.
I'm even
We
doing
all
a
think
stop
the
wall in
same
my little
thing.
car.
Travis didn't want to be cool and let us see him. He's being all secretive. We didn't.
I'm
pay
on my
for his premium or
PC.
something.
Yeah, whenever I'm on my PC, I don't have a camera. So
He said his new 4090 card couldn't handle having a camera.
yeah, I don't have a 4090. I only have a 3070 Ti.
Oh, is that all just a 3070 Ti? Probably a Founders Edition, you know.
No. I would buy garbage Founders Edition anyways. I like my aftermarket cards. I
What,
really
the
do.
4090 is all?
I do totally want no, I wouldn't spend the money on a 4090, but I might be talked into buying a 4080 I don't know. We'll see. My card's fine. Like that's just rampant consumerism in me talking, and I need to like talk myself out of it. So yeah,
You need bigger.
I know,
Buy more,
like-
buy more, buy more.
I hate it when my Minecraft isn't at 3,000 frames per second. You
Right.
know, it sucks.
well, I mean, I actually use my computer probably more for work than I do for play. But
You do, but your kids don't.
no, he's got my old work laptop, and then
Oh,
Courtney
okay.
has her own gaming laptop that she bought. So yeah, everybody's got their own kind of jam. So
All the bandwidth in that house is just gone.
we actually had to get the next up plan that had actually unlimited, because their unlimited has a fucking asterisk next to it that's a terabyte, and we were using like 1.5 terabytes a month, and yeah, so
Damn.
oh yeah,
You got to stop trying to download the porn at 4K, bro. Drop it down to 1080. It's fine.
well, we homeschool, so like you know, he's on the computer for homeschooling every day, so that ends up eating up a lot of the bandwidth. So plus just
And
kids
yes,
are,
Zach, it is a large head.
he recently got into a charter school, and so he does 4 days here and 1 day there, and it's
Nice.
been
Cool.
awesome. Like Vegas is notorious for having like some of the worst, like literally second or first, they trade back and forth, I can't remember with who, but for like the worst schools. We caught the teachers like feeding the test questions to the kids and stuff in the test. Yeah,
Where was that when I was in school? Damn it!
I know, right?
I know, right?
I feel
Hey.
cheated.
I had to take all my tests on my own, but like
Right?
we were basically having to teach them everything anyways. So we were like, if we're gonna have to do that, we might as well just homeschool them. So the first half of my day is usually homeschooling, and then we get into work and stuff. So,
Nice. Damn.
Joe Price has so many kids. You so wrong.
Right? I think the herd of kids that Joe Price has, that
Yeah.
can't be true.
Joe couldn't pull out of a parking lot.
Yep. I love Joe, but
Boy.
that's not what he is good at doing. Is pulling out.
He's going to start a professional football team before too long. Shit.
Oh, God.
Joe, I have a few.
Oh,
Just means
man.
more hands come help on the build someday, you know?
I just need to holler at Joe at tax time, see if I can at least borrow a few. Yeah.
I know, right? Can I have a couple kids for tax time?
I borrow a
please?
couple of tax season, dog.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
You got enough.
That's funny as hell, actually.
Shit,
I got a rebuild to pay for, bro. Come on.
right?
I don't
Right?
even want to talk about that.
Rebuilds are, yeah. Like, and I'm legitimately gonna put like a $20,000 cap on what I'm willing to spend on the cube when I rebuild it. So, yeah,
Well, I'm totally gutting mine and going steel cage and everything, so.
it's a good idea.
Not me.
Steel cage is, even if it's a light steel cage, it's better than
Right.
wood.
We're actually keeping the shell. That was
Really?
the idea on mine. Yeah, I'm keeping the shell. We're gonna rebaffle it. And
Wood
pray.
is really expensive right now. Like, I get it,
Yes.
but
So when I hit Hunter up about it and was like, look, this is the game plan. What can I do with the same shell that I have?
God,
Like, tell me what I can do. I don't want to tell you what I want. Just tell me what I can do.
good, because that's the best way to work with Hunter.
Yes, that is always the best
like-
way to work with Hunter because he knows
Bro.
way more than I ever will. So I'm just like, dude,
so many clients because they won't fucking listen, and he's not
Nope.
gonna.
I
put out
tell
a
anybody I
subpar
say to
product.
him, I'm like, dude, whatever he says, don't argue with him.
Yeah,
Like, if he says this is what you need to do, then build it the way he told you to build it. Don't deviate from it, and don't question it.
well, and people will go ahead and build what he told them not to build, and they'll be like, "See, it works," and it's like, yes, it makes fucking.
But you don't
sound,
know how
like,
much better it could have worked.
Bro, Easy DBs has a sound, and Hunter is good at giving a wide bandwidth when he is given the appropriate, like, budget, as you will. the GOAT played from 22 to 70 within a dB and a half.
Hell, even mine's got. I mean, I can go from about 22 to low to mid 60s, and
Yeah.
almost no drop off. And even when I looked at the design when we did it at your place that night, I'm like, this looks like raw ass cancellation.
Yeah, no, like everybody's
And-
so worried about cancellation. Just don't be worried
But you
about
like,
cancellation.
have you? Dude, I've never seen another build that looks like mine, where you've just got the subs like this. Like,
Yeah.
it just looks. Everything about it looks wrong,
So
but it works.
like here's
Yes,
a
Bobby, it is. I
Yeah.
just seen pictures of it about a couple weeks ago. Sorry.
Yeah,
didn't mean
no,
to-
Dylan has it. We're gonna be doing some power supply upgrades, but he put Z2Bs in it, and that's it. He updated the doors a little bit. I think he blew some of the speakers, so he put new DDs in. It needs to be retuned, but Dylan's been taking really good care of it and has been working on it. So, and if Dylan ever sells it, like I will probably buy it back from Dylan. So that is one of my favorite builds ever.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think he may be even thinking about doing a different version of that, not actually taking that one apart, but because you don't take a vehicle like that apart, but doing another one similar. So yeah, that'll be really cool if he decides to do that. So I don't know. Street battle builds are so much more fun for me.
So you moving to New York or Florida?
No, I'm gonna start Las Vegas street battles here. So there's a lot of huge systems in Las Vegas, but they have no reason to do over the top setups.
See,
So,
Vegas though, y'all can go out in the desert and just do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
You have that luxury, you know. Like,
Bro.
there's desert.
See, that's why I've always said, Travis, you need to become a judge for Base Wars and take Base Wars out to Vegas.
yeah, but I don't have time to be like a real judge and like put the amount of effort in that needs to be put in for that. I wish Becker could do it, but you know, Becker's got his reasons for not. Becker's a great judge, and he's dedicated and he can be dedicated. My plate is generally about as full can be. So like I said, in the next 2 months, we're trying to boost our output by 500%. So that requires a lot of attention and a lot of fucking up and finding out why we fucked up and trying not to fuck up that way again. So
It happens. It happens.
yeah, I mean I'm
There's
somewhat
gotta be a lot
terrified
of
to get this
error.
welder in. Like,
There's going to be a lot of error in that trial as well.
oh yeah, like it took me a solid 6 to 8 months to get comfortable with printing, to be like, hey, I can use this for more than prototyping. Like I can make the products with this. So, and we still learn new things about printing.
And once you find you a good printer where the head doesn't clog up and it doesn't screw up, and all the
Well, I
fun
don't have
stuff
that kind of printer, but yeah, finding the right printer and a good printer. Customer support's almost non-existent with all of these brands. So, like, it makes my customer support look fucking top tier. Like,
Your
you get
customer support is
responded
top
to.
tier, sir. I've had you tell me I'm a fucking idiot more than once. So I
Yeah,
mean,
true.
great customer support.
I will
Yeah,
wish
not-
this man happy birthday, and a year later he will finally look at the message and tell me thank you. I'm like, really? Really? A year later? So
That's me. That is definitely me, and I can pick up a conversation from a year or 2 or 3 ago.
Yeah, oh yes.
Just
Yes.
walk right back into it.
I was in
Here I
Vegas.
am, my last little brain cell struggling to try to, what the hell is he talking about?
I was in Vegas, and we were on the strip, and Travis told me, "Hey, I'm gonna go back to the house, do such and such. Hit me up a little bit later, and we'll come meet back up." I said, "Why? You're not gonna look at it?" He just giggled and laughed at me. He's like, "Yeah, I will." I messaged him. He didn't look at it.
It was just to spite you at that point. No.
Ass.
Oh, shit. But
Oh,
but yeah, like I know that I couldn't dedicate to it what needs dedicated to it, which is the only reason I won't. But this is like a once a month. If I miss it, I miss it. And there'll actually have to be other judges involved because I can't just be the one judging because I want to run in it. So I want to get involved with it too. It's a fun thing. So I think I'll probably sponsor the belts the first year and see if anybody else wants to get involved. But belts, like everybody makes a big deal about like custom belts and shit, but I just priced them out last night and belts
They're
are like
not as
$200 a pop. They're so much easier than rings, dude. Like I vote everybody gets belts for first place versus silly plastic trophies or fucking rings.
bad.
But just hit
What?
Barnaby up and have him crank out a bunch of the light up ones. Everybody loves the light up stuff.
Light up stuff is cool. Like
Light up stuff is awesome.
yeah, like we even did a little limited release of 2Ks that are all clear in the centers, so you can light them up. So
Everybody likes
Billy,
the lights now.
Billy does nice one-off trophies for finals every year. I think is really pretty cool.
mhm.
He does. It only takes you 2 years to get them.
Well, yeah, whatever. Shut up, Dan.
You know,
I'm sorry. It only takes me 2 years to get. Everybody else got theirs. So I got that.
well, and we may get into doing some awards and stuff too, because my other company, my manufacturing that I've got going on with Nick Medina, we're going to be doing sheet CNC goods, so on a router table basically, and then do some light laser. But realistically, we are not looking to being open to the public. We're going to be a business to business only. So we're not going to really be like competing with Barnaby or anybody like that in terms of like public offerings or anything like that. So
He's gonna sign that exclusivity deal with JP. I see it coming.
no, I mean, there's some things that we can make for JP. But one of my distributors like more so desperately needs mid to entry level boxes. So I kind of want to take over that because they need like 300 a month. So, but we also have to compete with like Taiwan and stuff. So we have to make sure it's done in a way that's efficient enough to where we can't just charge $50 more because it's made in America. You know, it can cost a little bit more, but it can cost a lot more.
Yeah. Well, and as much as we all love the SPL game, there's like you mentioned earlier, there's quite a few people out there that are still just running the average Walmart speakers or Kmart speakers or just the entry level setups.
I mean, you got to support that part of it because that's where the growth comes from. Not everybody walks into the game with a 160 dB build, although it is kind of crazy watching a lot of these high school kids coming out at 150s now.
Oh yeah,
but
Right.
I mean, still,
50's
there
the new
is
40.
still the entry level is the biggest part of the market, and I learned a lot of that just from one of my first trips to Vegas when we were looking for the Boss Audio booth because I had the Boss Audio build in the Armada at the time, the Boss build, and when we're over at the Westgate and we're going through all the booths and I'm at the Focal and the Moscone and they all have like these little hotel rooms, they had set up for their vendor areas. And I'm asking the guys at Moscone, I'm like, where the hell's the Boss guys? They're like, oh, they're at the penthouse. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they have the penthouse, the top floor. It's all theirs. And I'm just like, okay. He's like, yeah, they sell entry level crap, but they sell a lot of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
it's just everybody like used to give Kicker shit back in the day because, they went to more of a Kmart or a Walmart brand, as everybody likes to say. But you know what? He was smart with what he did, and he kept his business alive. And look at where they're at today because of it.
Yeah. Well, and it's about getting what we call bread and butter. We lived our first 5+ years on what is realistically Halo products that are meant to draw people in. Like, holy shit, that's really cool. But like 9 out of 10 people that come on the website couldn't afford the fucking battery. Like
Look at
first
that.
2-3 years that I was working for the company, I couldn't afford our own batteries, like So the idea that that's what we were always going to be was never the plan. The plan was always to try and release some consumer-based products. Um, so yeah, we'll definitely have some bigger offerings. There'll be bigger retail and NXTs that'll be available all year, and then we'll have some limited edition of like really badass, like nobody really competes with it, and it may end up still being high price because we have dealers that will buy that and they will sell that to consumers at that price. But then we just bring back the Team JY where like the close 20-30 people to the company, they all get it at like that old pricing that they were able to get things at. So
I remember them days. Way back when.
My old AGM ass over here, just sitting here.
yeah, Dan slept through those whole days.
I did.
Slept.
What?
But see, I'm glad though. I'm kind of glad I missed those days because now I get to get in on the new stuff.
Indeed,
You know,
indeed.
it's-
And the new stuff's pretty crazy. Like the cycle life, I really expect these products to last probably for the people that are beating the shit out of them 5 years. People that are using them around what we're actually telling them to use them around. It's probably a 7 to 10 year product. So
Right, and I mean, you and I have had that conversation too about not even just the cycle life of the product, but just the product cycle in
Mhm.
general, where it's a 2 to 3 year cycle of product because the technology is evolving so rapidly.
Yeah.
In the lithium world and that's kind of why I have sat back for so long on the AGM thing and just kind of waited for it to plateau a little bit because here recently, the last 5, 6, 7 years, it's been every few months something
Yeah.
new, something new,
Well,
something new, and especially
gotta
with
be
the
careful.
EV market. And
you got to be careful because, oh my God, it is so annoying. You will see a brand new thing definitely almost every week. The problem is 90% of those will never make it past pilot stage. Like they're not even
right,
in pilot stage.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was wondering who Facebook user was.
There's a couple of them. Jason Lucas. I don't know. It's if they're on your guys' page watching it or through a different site other than Base Wars, it comes up as Facebook user.
Gotcha.
I see Andy in the house though.
Yeah. Here's a good question for you, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Travis.
Brett's question.
Bank of 5. So like 5 in series or 5 banks of 6? I'm guessing since it's only 1500 watts, he's talking about a single bank of 5. That should. Can you put that? Where was that again? Is it still up in the chat?
Yeah, here, sorry. There you go.
Okay, right there.
He said 5 in
Not drop
series.
much below 14, starting at 15. No charging behind it. 5 in series. So Brett, we actually talked about this a little bit earlier. If you put a 70 amp load on that bank of caps and then measure it until it drops to 12 volts, it takes about 20 seconds to go from 14.8 to 12.0 at 70 amps. And your average voltage over time is in the 13 volt range still. So what does that end up being in my head? 70 times, yeah. I don't know. My brain's not functioning right now.
Not good at math. Sorry.
That's
Numbers
1,000
and
watts.
stuff.
1,000 watts. It's about 900 some watts minus efficiency. But so that, I mean, with no backup at all, like it's on its own, that is going to fall on its face extremely quickly on 1,500 watts. But with an alternator where the alternator is covering probably half of that, if not more, and you're not doing that for long periods of time in your daily, it's 20 to 30 seconds for baselines and stuff like that most of the time. I would think it would be okay to have 1,500 watts and a 5-pack. Yeah, worst case scenario, a bank of caps is going to be a bad deal if your charging falls off because there's 0.8 amp hours worth of capacity there. So, and that's where the NXT comes in, is the 1500 watts to 2000 watts stereos, is especially on those longer bass draws and stuff like that. You're gonna have a noticeable difference from a bank of 5 to an NXT 2K. And a bank of 5 costs roughly the same as an NXT 2K if you're assembling it yourself. If you buy it as a cased product, it's about $550. So you can buy almost 2 NXTs for that price. But most definitely, the NXT is going to win out for the voltage that you're watching. And until you get into burping, the NXT is probably going to be the superior product for stiffening. So now where I wouldn't use an NXT is if I wanted to stiffen a little bit on like my big system. Let's just say
I'm
I have
stiffening a
10,000
little
watts.
bit right now.
If I wanted to gain a little bit, I wanted to throw a little bit at my 10,000 watt stereo and my 300 amp alt, you cannot use a single NXT. You're gonna overcurrent the NXT. It is
But see,
not
that's
meant-
what I was gonna say. Like, say for instance, if I wanted to grab that and throw them with my 10 banks, you said that's a
So-
big no.
How many alts do you have?
2.
50.
You're gonna want 8 NXTs minimum. You're gonna
8?
want 4 per high output alternator to be able to dissipate, because those are gonna try and recharge first.
But I mean, additional with my caps.
Well, I mean, it
You mean
just
with your
depends
caps
on
or
what's
ying
lower
ones?
resistance. Whatever's the lowest resistance is gonna
Ying
receive
one,
most
whatever you
charge
want.
first. Like, yeah, it is split up, and we could test it, but like, it's a scary situation to think that little thing that is designed for 60 amps continuous, and the cells are capable of 120, but if they're ever exposed to 300, they're gonna die. So, like,
So
for a
basically,
long
when-
period of time.
To break this down in layman's terms, if you have over a certain amount of charging current, you need to have a certain amount of batteries to absorb that charging current.
Yes, and realistically, if you have over 150 to 200 amp alt, you need to run more than a single NXT, or you could run a bank of caps alongside of it, and that would help soak up some of that charge too. Now, maybe Jimmy's, the charge curves are different.
I charge
for
at
LTO.
15.7.
Yeah, and you can do that with NXTs. NXTs are their power is actually not rated at their full voltage that they can go to, because we know 99% of the customers are never going to charge it over 15. So I can't. If I could rate it there. I could 100% would be within my right to rate NXTs as if they were charged at 16.8.
But then people would freak out and be like, "Oh, I got to charge them at 16.8."
Yeah, well, they're going to blow their car up trying to do
Right,
that.
Yeah, they're gonna blow
And-
everything up in their car.
And then
trying
on
to-
top of that, the guy that charges at 14.8 is going to be pissed at me because he didn't understand that was a full power rating and not where most people are. Like, I don't even want to get
every
into
day.
that. I don't want to get into
Yeah.
that. We
Opening
rated
a can
them
of worms.
as correctly as we could for the people that are going to be using them the most. So,
Absolutely.
and we showed that on video before we released them also. You know, we put a CXA 1800 with 30 amps worth of power supply and played that CXA 1800 at full tilt, showing full amperage draw on it. And I don't think we ever dropped below 13.
When we get off here, you should share that on our Base Wars Facebook page.
I'll have to find it, but yeah.
For some of the users that would like to see it, I know I'd like to go back and watch it.
Let me see if I can. I can probably do it now. Let me see. Power.
So you're talking about all the money right there. We're talking about the guys that have the amp dynos and all their stuff at their house, like a Fuego and Andy and all them. You know, wow. There's the guys with the money right there.
Right? And
Yeah,
Andy can afford kicker too, so I mean we know he's a baller.
I just got to sit back and listen to what I'm told. Yep, okay, I believe you. You're right.
Andy got that professional grade going.
Right. It's living loud with Andy. Come on, get it correct, sir.
Share. Copy link. Base Wars.
/OnlyFans/com That,
So how do I post? I don't do this shit on computer much. Do I have to go to
No.
community or something?
What, sir?
Do I have to go to community or do I just send you a link?
just send Jimmy a link. He'll post
Send
it.
me the link and I'll post it.
Okay. I'm an old man. You gotta remember this shit. I don't know
Yeah,
how to
you're-
use this here Facebooks.
Just send it to me and I'll post it afterwards.
We're sitting here discussing the terabyte of usage a month in your house, and you're like, I don't computer.
Yo, like my accountant got so mad at me the other week. I think it was last week. Like she was cursing at me because I don't have a scanner. Like
Yeah, just
I am not a
PDF
normal-
scan with the phone, baby.
That's
There's an
right.
app for that.
That's
That's
fucking
what I do.
right. I ended up just taking her the paperwork, but yeah,
He's like, I need all your damn receipts. He's like, I got them here in a folder. She's like, that doesn't do me no good. Scan 'em. He's
no,
like,
we don't
Yeah.
do accounting that way. Thankfully, thank God. Like first 3 years of the company, I still have them. First 3 years of the company, Yui made me keep all the receipts and everything.
Travis has them written down in crayons, like, you know,
Nah,
IOUs.
bro. Nah, bro. We never needed those receipts, and he went and took them to the fucking tax guy, and the tax guy's like, "I'm not looking through all that. I'm just gonna go over your credit card bills." Like, oh, okay, great. Like that
Yeah, but if you-
itemizes and
Oh, no,
categorizes
hold on,
everything.
But if you ever get
I
audited,
cannot. I'm about to say I can't blame Yui because when they step in and they send you that letter that says audit, yeah, I've had that happen, and then they want all that, and it's
Yeah,
like,
have all the
No,
receipts,
no,
you're screwed.
your fucking your credit card statements are 100% enough because your credit card statements are what the government has access to. Your banking statements and your like, if you go into your, I mean, maybe this is a business thing. I don't know. I've never tried it.
I was
on
going
my
to say,
personal
not
account.
all of us are rich enough to have all them credit cards, though, Travis. A lot of us.
Well, I don't-
yeah.
I actually
What's
just
a credit
got.
card?
I say credit cards, but like I've always used debit cards. Honestly, I literally just got my first credit card ever as an adult, like 2 weeks ago. So Travis is working on his credit. But yeah, I've never done anything with my credit, so I never established credit. But
'Cause we work for
recently I
everything.
decided
We're old.
to fix that. So, but yeah, when I said credit card, I meant like the debit card bills and your bank statements. But like in your online banking, if you log on, you should have an area that tells you where you spend money on and
Yeah.
like, what you spend money on. It's all itemized. So keeping paper receipts is 100% archaic and should not be done.
I don't know. There's some things I spend money on that don't show up on my bank
Travis,
statements.
I'm going to get
Well,
you.
then you
in the
don't want the
conversation.
IRS seeing that. What's wrong with you, Dan? Why do I have to say it out loud?
Those fall under like hospital and medication bills, sir.
Cash,
Personal health.
cash transactions are not reported, sir. Whatever doesn't go in the bank doesn't get reported.
But I try to claim it
Golly.
under like, you know, when it asks you, you know, your medical expenses. I'm like, well, I got a big one here. Does this work? No, I don't have receipts.
No, I'm honestly like the
Only
vast
do.
majority of the business we do now is ACH and wire transfers and checks and stuff. So I only sell
It's all in
product to two
crypto
people.
now. Travis
Oh, hell
is
no.
slinging all crypto now.
No, bro. Like so many people, I was telling people to be careful last year at like the height of crypto. Like, hey, I don't know if I'd be putting a bunch of money into this right now. Like, everybody's talking about it. When everybody's talking about it, that means that it's getting ready to. It's a pump and dump right now. So it's getting ready to dump. And a bunch of people bought in last year with their COVID money and shit. And I know people that are down like 300%. Like,
Oh yeah, if you weren't in for the fast game, it was not a game. I gotta wonder if JP still got his giant crypto farm going or not.
it wasn't
No, I think
giant.
he's
It was
over.
like one rack. What are you talking about?
I
Travis
thought he
had
had like
more
a pretty
than
good
that.
sized server set up.
I've never gotten involved in crypto, so and I never will. Like speculative trading, it's cool to do if you're into that, but like, dude, I always need money to make more money. Like I am constantly looking for new funding for things.
Yep.
So
That's why you get the craps tables. It's Vegas.
yeah, right. I've literally I put $5 in with Brian while Brian was here, Brian Chamberlain. But besides that, the entire time that I've been in Vegas and lived in Vegas, I've only put $20 in the gambling machine.
All I'm gonna say is, sir, you're good at math. There's always the blackjack table.
No, I'm good. There's still chance involved, bro. Now, my luck is the worst. Like, I put that $20 in, and it lasted me like 10 minutes. Like, no, I'm not feeding money into a machine like that. It's not happening.
100%. 100%. I agree.
Like, I have a cube that burned $150,000 hole in my pocket, and that's not like estimated, like what things were kind of sort of worth. No, that's like what we put into it, like that came out of our pockets. So what Kicker put into it was on top of that. Like, yeah.
Damn,
So,
that's insane.
So,
I mean, that sounds like Jimmy Pittman money. Like
I was going to say, Travis, will you be my sugar daddy?
No, I'm still working off a cube, bro. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, when the cube does come back out, it's only gonna be out here. Like maybe I'll start a fucking GoFundMe to fucking take it to Slam or some shit, but I'm not paying $7,000 a pop to take it there and back all the time.
Doesn't Kicker have a whole fleet of semis that can just drag it somewhere?
Kicker does have a bunch of trucks and stuff, but you know that's up to them and their wishes. So we'll see. We'll see. If I don't get, you know, a good enough offer, you know, because this, when we do builds like this, it's never like me being like a fangirl and being and like accepting a deal. There's always stuff attached to it, because this is business. Yep. There's business involved in a lot of this. So the Bully Goat was business driven, even though it's one of my favorite builds. You know, that was business driven with both DD and Kicker. And the cube was obviously business driven and in some aspects did really well. Like one of our big requirements was that Kicker start developing and bringing out product that's applicable to what we do. Which, don't get me wrong, it's taken them forever, and they warned us that it would take them forever. They were more optimistic in the beginning and whatever, but it's still, that's fine. It's coming. And everybody's seen it at least, so they're committed to it. And the other thing was that they help support shows. That was another big part of that. And in those ways, Kicker has definitely exceeded and done extremely well. We're really happy with how that side of the deal worked out. But kind of the back end support and like some of the business stuff didn't ever super materialize for us. And part of that was because after a while we had to scrap the cube because it was costing us too much and we couldn't come to an agreement on kind of who was going to pay for what and who was getting what kind of exposure out of it. So it was back shelved at that point. And, you know, the thing that sucks about it is me and Irby are 100% in love with the cube and want to do the cube. But there's more than one person that makes decisions there. So like it's just been kind of an awkward situation at the moment. So we don't know that when it will be with Kicker. It very well could be. Like I would like it to be for many reasons. But
hey, because they're already square holes.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. That's another big part of it. But like, I've got a really good relationship with Steve, and I know that wouldn't, if I had to change equipment up in there, that would not ruin me and Steve's relationship. But, you know, I care a lot for Kicker and Steve, and I like that, you know, we've done this with them. This was something crazy. And I want to finish it out and rebuild it back into where it was supposed to be before COVID hit. So, you know,
I mean, when that cube came out, it's already associated so deeply with Kicker. Yeah. I mean, to see it with another brand, and not that that's a bad thing or whatever, but it's kind of like when a base head sells, their base car, like when uh, Tommy Lasandra sold Arabella.
Yeah.
Everybody that owned it after, it was Tommy's truck. It doesn't matter. It's Tommy's truck. Or, if I sold the Armada, everybody, it's going to be my Armada. I don't give a shit who owns it. It's everybody's going to look at it as that's my Armada. And I think that's kind of when you have a build as epic as something like the Cube that came out as the Kicker Cube, it's just always going to be that association there.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. It's called the Cube. The Cube.
Yeah, that is one of the things. It is. That is the thing. It is technically the Cube, but it is known kindly as the Kicker Cube.
The Kicker Cube. I mean,
the association is already embedded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so far in there with Kicker, it would feel weird to see some other brand in there. 100%.
Well, and then kind of on top of that, like, because we never showed off the final scores after we finished up the cabin work, like, it just wouldn't look good because no matter what we put in there, it's probably going to score louder. So like that just, there's a lot of reasons why I don't want it to. So I'm trying to make that not happen. Steve Irby is trying to make that not happen. But there's more than that involved in business. Than
corporate stuff.
Yep. So we'll see. That's my wishes. That's his wishes. But yeah, life's weird when there's like 240 other people involved. So, and it doesn't come down to any personalness at all either. I like a lot of the people in Kicker. Don't get me wrong. There's people I don't get along with Kicker, and there's people inside Kicker that don't like me. Definitely don't like me. But for the most part, and for all that I can say, it's all good people there. And whether or not I agree with their opinions or not, they're in a position, they're in whatever position they're in for a reason, and they're going to go with that reasoning. So.
Absolutely.
Yep. It's all up to the bean counters and stuff too. So yeah.
I mean, when it comes right down to it, it all makes dollars and cents from a business aspect.
Yep.
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I help run a company right now. It's all about the dollars. If I can save $50 here, I'm sorry that I've been loyal to you, but he's going to give it to me $50 cheaper.
And all I know is that if it doesn't come back out with Kicker, I'm blaming Kip. That's all there is to it. Kip's fault.
Well, Kip's a different story, and we'll leave that alone. I still talk to Kip.
Me too as well.
Things have happened in Kip's life that are unfortunate for everybody involved, and I just kind of wish him the best to get through all of that. But I would not blame Kip. But he just threw me off. You son of a bitch. Completely threw me off track.
Derailed that train of thought.
Yep, it's gone. It's completely gone. Oh no, I remember now. Oh, I don't want to minimize the amount of money that the Cube would even cost, like Kicker. So the first time that we went to go sit down and talk with Kicker about us taking it to as many shows as we were taking it to, like 5 to 6 a year. I think it was actually quoted at 7 shows a year. The first year we quoted them $120,000 to finish it, buy the truck for it. We already had the trailer, obviously, but we'd already, like, the Kodiak was in and out of limbo, and we knew the Kodiak wasn't gonna be able to pull it at that point anyways. So it was buying a truck. It was me and Hunter's time. It was about 1,000 hours of me and Hunter's time to go to shows and stuff, and then finishing what build. And then recurring years after that would have been like $40,000 to $60,000 or something like that. So it's a lot of money, like to continue doing it the way we were doing it. I've made some new proposals that, like, hey, the Cube stays in Vegas, and if we want to exhibit it, we could probably exhibit it at Counts Customs because they're also sponsored by Kicker, and I know some people there.
Danny's a good guy.
So, and I went over and talked to him, and they can't store it and like keep it there in the museum, but if we wanted to do an event with it, they could host an event there. which
That's
would be really
badass.
super cool. Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
awesome. So, like, and then we have SEMA and CES. So it would be here for two of the biggest like electronics and car shows in the world, and then people can come and see it kind of as they want to.
And here's the beauty too. In this day and age, it's the social media coverage of it. Even just being at those limited events, but those limited events are such huge crowds.
Yep.
And such a large media coverage on them.
Yep.
From everything, from every aspect of social media, and that's nowadays what sells is the videos, the media, the press, the coverage, all that.
When
I
I
mean,
looked
whether
at that
it's-
first video at Kurt's shop when we came back from Midwest, that one I shared back a couple weeks ago, that post has like 2,000 something shares and 1.2 million views. That's like that blows my mind. And like still people, and that's why it pops up. That's why I share it every once in a while, is because like people like it and it pops back up in my feed every once in a while. So like most definitely the reach is long and far reaching.
Oh, yeah,
Majority of
absolutely.
it comes within the first week, but yeah, like it's 4 or 5 years after that post went live and it's still relevant. So we'll see. You know, it's a lot of nerd math and negotiating and blah 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 blah. It's the boring fucking side of all of this that I hate. But that's the side of things that also has to be accounted for to do these kind of big ass crazy things. So
The realistic.
we can't all be RP, you know. Some of us
or
gotta
Jimmy
get
Pittman for
sponsored.
that matter. I mean, we can't
Some
all
of us
just
gotta
buy
get
new
sponsored.
base rigs and then rebuild them. Yeah, so let's just have to be poor.
Yeah, you're doing what with your vehicle, Dan? Rebuilding it?
That build has been there for 4 years, sir. I've
Yeah.
had that truck for 11.
Well,
Brian never owned a
We
car
can't just all
that
build
long.
something and run it for 2 years, throw it away, and buy a whole nother build already built. Let's go.
You know, now that I think about it, I think I've owned the Cube the longest of any vehicle that I've ever owned and kept. That's funny. Not that I
Really?
see it like ever. Like
Yeah.
I went and saw it while I was out there.
I was gonna say, is it still sitting in the warehouse at Kicker?
No, it's not inside. It's outside. So
It's
I'm gonna
sitting
have to
outside
replace it.
looking sad.
It doesn't
looks
even look sad,
depressing.
bro. I fucking honestly, I was really surprised with what kind of shape it was in, and the Lexan isn't all like nasty and shit. Or Plexi, excuse me. It's not Lexan, but the plastics on it, it's all good. I need to replace the rear barn doors, but like I always knew, like I didn't put weatherproof plywood on there. I knew I was gonna have to replace those after a year or two. So, but besides that, like it was hilarious. Bill's like, "What do you mean it looks great? Did you see the suspension?" I was like, "What do you mean did I see the suspension? Like it's always on frame. What are you talking about? Like it couldn't be any worse than on frame unless the frame went through the axle, which is a legitimate thing that could happen with that, you know.
Yeah.
But probably not while it's unloaded. It only weighs God, I think it only weighs 16,000 pounds when it's unloaded from with equipment. Always 21 with equipment.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, I'm taking them big side pods off. Those things weigh 2,000 pounds when they're loaded up. So
Whoa.
yeah, those are
Yeah,
all those
it's-
speakers are a big deal. I'm not doing speakers like that again. If I rebuild it, like I'm gonna do 2 towers that just sit by the doors or sit by
Just
the
put an
door.
ass ton of compression horns on the top and call it a day like everybody else.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Get out of here.
No.
No, I gotta have an active 3-way setup, and the Cube is gonna sound like a legitimate concert when it comes back out.
That's what's
That's
up.
how we do. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, I think we're getting at that point in time tonight.
Agreed. I need
I
my
would-
food in front of me. I need to eat.
I would definitely say I want to appreciate you, Travis, and you, Dan, for coming on and helping me out in my time of crisis tonight.
Anytime.
Absolutely, sir. And
Tell
when
Courtney we
when we
said
get
hi.
into the
I miss
new
y'all.
when we get into the new warehouse, we can do another one, and I can kind of walk everybody through everything. So
Yeah, let me know when.
Are you
and-
actually gonna like come on camera that time?
I was gonna
or
say
are
it might
you-
be hard if I don't turn a camera on, but I'll probably
There's
be on
that
my
part.
phone for that. So
Let me know when and where, and we'll schedule it for sure, sir.
sounds good.
Absolutely.
All right,
What'd
guys.
you
say,
See you
brother?
later.
What'd you
See
say?
you later,
Dan?
brother. I said, tell Courtney we said hi. Miss y'all.
Yeah, she's sick, but I'll let her know.
Hope
Yeah,
you
definitely
feel better.
miss you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. You know.
You too, man. So
All right.
we'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, and on that note, I think we're going to end it with this little last video that you've probably already seen. Sorry, but hey, one more time. Peace out.